Well, hello, Gators.
Good evening, parents. Well, thank you for joining us. It is late.
Welcome to our
For sure.
first ever live Levy presentation.
Yeah, it is going to be a serious presentation, but we want to bring a little bit of levity to the moments of us working on it. But we're excited that you're here joining us. Again, we will be recording this as well so that parents can reference it later as well. But our real purpose today is to just discuss a little bit about the new supplemental levy that has been proposed, and it's coming out on March 8th. And so we're going to do our best to do that. We hope if you have any questions that you can please identify them below and post them, and we'll get to them. We promise to answer everything that we can. There may be some that we can't, and if we can't, we'll find out and we'll get back to you.
Absolutely.
So you ready, Mr. Channer?
I am ready to kick it off.
Here we go. Let's do it.
So, within the priorities that the community has established, that the district has established, looking forward, one of those things that we want to focus upon is the district's commitment to every student learns. So, as we're going throughout this process, we hope that comes through clearly.
Absolutely.
And as we present the desired outcomes of the levy, hopefully we can see all of those things come to fruition. The commitment to excellence, our strong relationships within the community, and also just that the district is first and foremost being fiscally responsible with this replacement levy. So,
and one of the intentions was really to reduce the tax burden on our constituents, and that's one of the things that this did, is that we were able to accomplish that and still accomplish some of the needs that our district still has.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we move forward with this, keep those things kind of on the forefront of your mind, and hopefully, you'll see echoes of those themes throughout the things that we talk about. So without further ado,
here we go.
Let's jump into it.
Now, again, March 8th, we are asking the community to vote on an $8 million supplemental levy to support teachers and students. That is a little bit less than what we had previously done, the one that is replacing. And what we really want to do is show you what that $8 million is going to be doing for our school district.
Yeah. So as we look forward to this, this levy is a replacement levy, as we talked about before. So what that means is there is a current levy in place. That one will expire at the end of this fiscal year. So this one will take place, which happens, June 30th when we kick over to the next year. So this fiscal levy, this one that we're going to vote on here shortly, will take place and be placed July 1st.
Yeah, which means it's available for us for the next school year. So for the 22-23 school year, it will be in place for us to be able to access there. So previously, you just saw a little screen, and that was the breakdown of what the funding will be used for. So here on our screen, and we know it's a little bit small, so we'll try to walk you through it a little bit. That big green part, that's the biggest chunk right there, is for teacher, staff, and for current programs. That's $3.3 million is what we're putting towards that. And kind of moving around in that circle would be our early childhood program would get $100,000 to help out with that program. Another really good chunk is going to be the activities and athletics and music and performing arts. There's been some money that has been allocated, and we're going to show a little bit from that in particular how it's helped Sherman in our music program. There's some cool things that have happened there. The next column over in the yellow is curriculum at another $1.3 million. Then we have building security. This helps upgrade our camera systems and other features that we just need to keep up to date. Sherman was the benefit of this past year that we received a new security system, which was very helpful. Transportation's the next one at $350,000. Playgrounds, that's been a big one, and that's also something that we have benefited of directly as well. And then also, I think probably the biggest one for us is in this chunk is that technology for $2 million. It's directly correlated to a lot of things that we've been able to do at Sherman through our STEM innovation projects, and we're going to kind of personalize a little bit of that to Sherman and what we need.
And also one thing you'll notice within this, because it is a replacement levy, a lot of those big buckets buckets that are currently within that graphic are continuing over to the new ones. So
Absolutely.
it's not like these are very new, buckets that we're going to be looking into. The technology, the curriculum, a lot of those types of things. Those are things that people
Helping
are
us
familiar
continue.
with.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
helping us
It's a
continue on what we've already
continuation.
started.
Yep.
And one of the good parts, one of the questions that sometimes we get quite a bit is, how are we able to do this and still lower the rate? And the reality is that because of the values of the homes and how many people are now living in the valley, we're able to get the needed levy money without having to put as much burden upon the tax burden upon our constituent base. And so this right here is really the nooks and crannies of how is it going to affect your property tax. As we try to explain this, again, we are educators, and we're going to try to help you through this, but there is a website on the school district webpage that will help you identify how much of a tax burden will be on your house. You can enter in money, the value of your home. That's what I was looking for. The value of your home, and it will help you give you what the actual cost would be for you and your home. So again, we are, Nampa has Nampa School District has really tried hard to make sure that these levies are reduced and at a good clip. And so here's a graphic for that right here.
Well, and I think to your point, I think what we're trying to show through that graphic as well is again, toward that fiscal responsibility.
Absolutely.
Right. We're doing the best we can to not only continue to the excellence of learning, but also to be fiscally responsible. And with the increased, values that we're seeing within the community, how can we go about maintaining, the technology that is so desperately needed within the classrooms, but at the same time, putting forth a good faith to the community and reducing those tax burdens year over year. And so as we saw in that last graphic, like it declined fairly steadily since 2017.
And I think that's important to know. And also one thing about levies is that sometimes the school levies get lumped in with the city taxes. And they're actually two different things. You have your county taxes, you have your city taxes, and then you have the school taxes. And they're all three separate entities and how they get in place. And really, we have tried to minimize some of those taxes from the school district standpoint. And that graphic that has the 5-year levy rates really helps us to show that. And so again, the blue right there is the Nampa School District. And that is, again, separate and independent of both the county taxes and the city of Nampa taxes.
Absolutely. No, great point.
Which then leads us back to the fun part about what does that mean as far as dollars for me. And I think the best way to do this is each of us probably sit in a different situation of what your home value is. Here's an example that if you have an assessed value of $380,000 in 2021 and you have your exemption and then you have your taxable value, that tax rate before was at 2.37, which equated to that NSD tax bill. Currently, the tax rate that we're proposing from the school district is going to be less, but because of home values are allowing us to generate the money that needs to continue the programs and still have an overall decrease for a homeowner. So I think this is the telling slide that is really good for each one of us, which ultimately translate going to the district website that has a lot of this information, but also an app that will allow you to put in your home value and get out what that actually means for you.
Yeah, so you can actually go in and plug in your exact numbers and see, what is that going to translate to estimated real dollar-wise. And so I think that's a very valuable tool. Absolutely.
Well, I think now, again, going back to what does this look like in schools? How does this impact? What does that physically translate to? I think that's always important to see that part. So for here at Sherman,
and that's the fun part.
That's the fun part because we have some of those tangible things that we can show you right away. So we're going to show you first a couple of things. First off, we're probably going to show you I think our biggest one for us, being a STEM school, is our iPads and some of the things that we've been able to accomplish with them.
Yeah, and if you tune in on a weekly basis to any of our videos, like you'll see, us highlighting students and student work on the iPads, and this is just one example of that, right? Kids are getting together and creating apps, and you can see within the picture there, like they're actually in there producing throughout their work. our focus on simple machines for within our makerspace. They're using those iPads to engage within that exploration. So it's just some really cool, and without the iPads, darn near and challenging,
Absolutely.
impossible. Maybe
Absolutely.
we might be able to say so.
And then even here, we have this down even to kindergarten. So this is an example from kindergarten. So this isn't something that's just impacting our fifth grade or the older kids. This is really starting from the time that they arrive at Sherman in kindergarten. It has had a great impact. It allows us to engage kids in a much deeper way than what we have been able to do traditionally. And so that's some of the things that's really exciting. The work that kids can show us, some of the manipulations. Last week, we actually showed a little video where they were showing us how to decompose and compose math problems using an app, which having all of those supplies just right there at their hands and to be able to touch and manipulate it right there is a great asset to helping us achieve better learning.
Yeah. And speaking of that video, let's take a look.
Let's take a look at it.
It's great being a second grader at Sherman Elementary because we get to use technology to understand math. One way technology is currently helping us solve math problems is with the app Number Pieces. Number Pieces is helpful because we are able to use visual base 10 blocks to compare the base 10 model to expanded form and even standard algorithm. Solve large math problems because I can see and understand how the top number isn't changing value. When we subtract, it just gets removed. Psst, it's great to be a teacher.
Yeah, I mean, if you just don't shake your head and give your kids high fives after they do that stuff, like holy moly, that's just such an impressive display of learning.
And being able to explain it, not just demonstrate, just to explain what they're learning and how they learn it. It's great stuff.
Yeah. One of the other things, obviously, that's pretty out there for us that we benefited from was our new playground. Man, the kids were so
Eyes light
excited.
up.
Yeah, when we got to roll that out, just the space that it went to, from the playground from when the school was opened, in 95,
right,
to what they're experiencing now is gigantic. And it's all because of the support from the community to be able to do those types of things.
Absolutely. We were able to remodel 2 different playground areas and really create a good one for our younger kids and also one for some of our older kids and also made it ADA accessible, right, which for us was also a really big plus. Being allowed to all of our kids have the opportunity to play on the playground and they all can do different things on it was fantastic. So huge appreciation of that support. And there are still a few schools that need that support. There's still some schools that are have playgrounds that were built when the school was built and have served their purpose, but need that attention and have that opportunity and access for all kids.
Yeah, and enjoy the same things we
Absolutely.
Great point.
Well, let's see. I think with that, we are trying to take just a second. We're going to look through, see if there's any questions. If parents out there, if you're guardians, if you're out there looking around and you have some different questions for us, this is a great time to do that. We'll kind of pause for just a few seconds and see if anything rolls in. And we'll give you about a 15-second break, and then we'll be right back to answer any of those questions. All right.
Yeah. As we kind of wrap up here and take a look at, how to move forward, we did want to bring up that there is the opportunity for, to come into the school and get an absentee ballot. So we have printed off some of those. So if you do want to take advantage of that, you can come into the school, fill that out. That is due by February 25th, the absentee ballot. Otherwise, you're welcome to, go to your local polling place and register there. And then there's also in the office some informational flyers in both English and Spanish if, over a lot of the things that we've covered. So if that's something that,
right. You want to get
help
something in your hands after you watch this, and you're like, maybe I would like to see that graph again. We do have copies of them for you. Front desk. Feel free to come and grab some. And you can grab a couple and give to your neighbors if you want as well.
Absolutely. And if there's more questions you have, reach out to us.
Absolutely.
We're always happy to talk and, try and explain, to the best of our ability, our understanding of how it's impacting Sherman. And like Mr. Stoffer said, some of the benefits that some of the other schools are looking forward to seeing, whether that's in staffing or iPads or infrastructure, internet structure, infrastructure, or playground. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
We're just looking forward to having those conversations.
Again, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us this evening. I know it's a little bit different than our normal presentations that we put on, and we were a little bit more serious this time, which is good. Yeah, you did really well.
I tried.
You did good. All right. With that, we just want to say again, thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and as always,
It's
great to be a Gator.